What's up guys, Truman here, welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to follow up with a video that I made probably yesterday by the time it goes out, and talk about something that I was getting into when I was talking about me overcoming procrastination and facing my fears. And that was the analogy that I had of the shadow or the ghost that you're running away from. So just to summarize, this is a quote from Alan Watts: if you ever see a ghost, don't run away from it. Because if you run away from it, you'll expend your energy, you'll expend your time, you'll expend your life force, and eventually you'll probably die from exhaustion. Now, the best way to face a ghost, or in this case your shadow, is to run straight into it. Now, if you run straight into it, it'll disappear. But if you run away from it, which is what most people tell you how to do, this is what culture tells you how to do, as I said, you'll eventually get tired and die. And second analogy, if you imagine that you're in a dark room, and behind you is a light source, and in front of that light source is like a cricket or some sort of insect. So you're not looking at the light, which is truth. So you're looking away from it, and you're seeing this massive shadow. You're seeing this massive shadow. And what do most people do? They run. You know, they run from the shadow. Or they try and move around the room. They do everything that they can to try and avoid the shadow from getting to them. But obviously when they move, the shadow moves with them, you know, because obviously you're getting in the way of the light source. So it's mutating and growing and becoming more and more crazy and dangerous and changing shape, and it's, you know, all sorts of other stuff. So the best way to face that is to turn around and look at the light. The light in this case being truth. The light in this case being honesty. The light in this case being facing your fears. Well, like I said, most people are taught, including myself, to not face their fears, to instead run away from their fears. Now, I realized this a while ago, about 4 or 5 days ago, when I made another video, and it was quite difficult to make, and it should be coming out today or yesterday. And it took me about 6 hours to make, and I tell you, it was like, I was like an ADHD kid, you know, who just could not focus on anything. So I was trying to work, and then the procrastination would set in, and I just get up and walk to do something. When I stop, it's like, where am I going? Get back on the chair. So I sit down again, and like 30 minutes later, get up. Like, where am I going? Like, I don't need to pee, I don't need to eat, I don't need to drink. So what am I doing? And so I spent, after about 5-6 hours of making it, I went down the road, and I totally forgot that I even made it. And I started with this whole self-critical thought, you know, thought patterns. And then eventually I stopped and I thought, dude, like, I've just literally faced my fears for 6 hours straight, and I've come out the other end, and I've created something that I enjoy. Like, and I'm not going to give myself any praise for that. And it just hit me straight away. Like, I have been overestimating and thinking about all of these problems and fears and stuff like that. But then when it actually comes to face them, all of a sudden there's no acknowledgement that, like, look, like, it's that easy. I can do it. It's that easy. So instead, what do? I run away from the ghost again. I run away from the shadow again, instead of facing the shadow. And this really came into light when I realized that it maybe not be the best idea for me to move out. So I was planning on moving out again. And I realized that actually it may not actually be the best idea, for the simple reason that I don't think that the fears that or the reasons that I'm telling myself why I need to leave are legitimate reasons. I think it's just me running away again. Now, why I say that is because I think that because I'm in such a good position now in terms of my work and you know, everything else, and everything is local, it would be better for me to start up and try and get a separate career going while I'm here instead of actually moving out. Whereas if I was to move out, the procrastination would come in again, and I find 1,000,001 reasons why not to work on myself. Whereas here, I have access to everything. I have access to my shed of supplements. I have access to all my devices and stuff like that. So it would be much better for me to actually stay. However, what I realized while actually thinking about that is how much I've been running from this ghost being procrastination, this ghost being the fear behind the procrastination, which is fear of my achievements not being acknowledged, or fear of being emotionally ostracized for my virtues and stuff like that. So not facing that and running away from that and actively using my energy to run away from that ghost is just going to keep the ghost here and here and here. And so and so by making that video, I realized that actually I can slay the ghost where I am. And in fact, after I slay the ghost, it's going to feel a lot better, and it's never going to follow me again. Now, I think this is a good analogy for a lot of what people are doing when they're not actually facing their fears. When people run from what they need to do, the ghost will become bigger and it will mutate. And what will happen is it will bleed into other areas of your life. And what will happen is, say for example, I mean, take a really obvious example. You got cancer, and you're ignoring it. What's going to happen? It's going to metastasize, and it's going to go everywhere. Now, imagine that cancer, but emotional. That emotional cancer being unresolved trauma, lies that you have told, people that you've manipulated. Now, once you've told those lies, you have two choices. Either you tell another lie, or you to yourself or to to yourself or to others. Or you face that, or you face that ghost. And if you don't face that ghost, you'll have to keep telling lies, and the ghost will metastasize into other areas of your life. And eventually you'll find that you are living behind a mask. You're afraid to open up to people. You're afraid to, you know, to be who you want to be, to exemplify and live your highest potential and highest good. You're afraid to do all that. And I can see this operating in me when it comes to this procrastination and running away too, because it's like, look, I've been telling myself all of these self-deceptions about why I can't do what I can do, you know, what's stopping me and all sorts of other stuff. And even just sitting here and making a video is an indication of that, because I didn't make a video, so it metastasized. Not because I have to, but because I was telling myself, oh, I'll do it later, oh, I'll do it later, oh, I'll do it. But actually, I was putting it off because I was running away from the fear. I was running away from procrastination. I was running away from all sorts of other stuff. So when actually sitting down and doing it, I realized that this is a lot easier than I thought it would be for obvious reasons. And so that's me running towards the ghost, if you see what I mean. But however, that constant self-deception that goes on in the back of our minds, where we put something off, or we believe lies about ourselves or about others that are absolutely untrue, but we know that they're not true, but we refuse to challenge them. That is the reason why we waste most of our lives, and why we live such a fraction of our potential, for the simple reason that we don't want to face our full potential. You know, we don't want to face our full potential at all. And I think this is where most of self-sabotage comes in. You know, I know I'm rambling a bit, but life is not hard. You are hard. The only thing hard about the life is you. Like, obviously you're a part of life, but you understand what I mean. We love to attribute external reasons or even internal labels like my condition or something like that for the reason why I can't do stuff. But ultimately, that's not the case. Ultimately, it's us. It's the excuses that we say. It's the excuses that we tell ourselves. It's the lies that we believe about ourselves, about what we can do, what we can't do, and that thin funnel of potential that we allow ourselves to, you know, to have access to. This thin, I'm only good at doing this, or I'm only good at doing that. Like, for example, I was thinking to myself, like, I could do so much more in my life. I could do so. It's like I'm getting on an age, and I'm thinking to myself, is this the best that I've accomplished? You know, working in retail, interpersonal development, and you know, stuff like that. But it's like there's a million and one things that I could be doing. But I basically realized that I was only allowing myself a thin funnel of potential because of certain things that I believe that I could do, certain things that I believe that I couldn't do, and all of it is fear. All of it is delusion. All of it is beliefs, or, you know, belief systems that you've picked up from other people that you assume to be true about you. And the only way to get over those belief systems is to run straight into them, test them out. Put them through a stress test. Most of the time, in fact, 99% of the time they will fail. I mean, how many times? I can guarantee almost everyone that's listening to this has probably had a moment in their lives, or multiple, sometimes daily, whereby they've been putting themselves off from doing something, and then the moment they actually do it, they're like, "Huh, that was easy. Why the hell didn't I do that later on? Oh, I spend so much time worrying and thinking about this, that, and the other, but actually, when I actually start to do it, it's really easy." Happens to me on a weekly basis. I'm sure it happens to everyone else. But we don't learn from that. We don't think, well, what else is easy that I've been putting off? We think, nope, that's fine. I've put one foot through the door. That's all right. Yeah, I've put one foot on the other side of the green of the grass, and that's it. I'll just, you know, shuffle around a bit, and hopefully something else happens. But yeah, like, it was very interesting. I think, I don't know. I'm really 50-50 about moving out. Let me know what you think. I need to talk to my mate who's going to be moving out on me and see what he thinks as well. Anyway, free man out, and peace.